Good afternoon, friends. We're out for a great adventure in the Mazzies. Mama Bear and Papa Bear just dropped me off at the City Creek Trailhead, and we're starting the Mazatzal Divide Trail. We're gonna do about 6 miles up to that big snowy mountain up there pretty much. And we're gonna be connecting to the Arizona Trail around then and following this ridgeline south on the Mazzies until the Barnhard Trail. We're gonna be out for about 3 days, 2 nights. I'm really excited for this trip, friends. There's some beautiful snow up there. We might even see some waterfalls. Stick around for this whole adventure. Let's get started. How about that? Brand new wilderness sign. I've been talking with the trail manager for up this part of the AZT, and he said they just installed this a week or 2 ago. Looks very good, guys. Some fantastic work. All right, so just to give you guys a little lowdown of what the game plan is. Today, I'm going to be doing just shy of 9 miles, climbing up and camping at the park. So those of you that have been around and have seen my Arizona Trail through hike videos, we're hiking into, I believe where episode 8 picks up, in the Mazzies on the Mazatzal Divide. And where I camped with my buddy Dan is the same spot I'm going to be camping this evening. From there, tomorrow, we're going to be hiking just like 4.5 miles up and over a ridge and down to some water, and there might be some waterfalls there, so I'm really excited about that. And a nice short day will be really nice because I haven't really had an opportunity to go out on a leisurely backpacking trip where I get to, you know, just take my time and hang out in the woods one day. I haven't gotten to do that in months, if not years. Like the Arizona Trail volunteering was fun. You can check that out up in the corner there. And that was a lot of fun. It was fun base camping, but obviously we did some work during the day. I'm really excited to get up here though and just chill in a hammock during the day, get some naps, maybe read some stuff or write some stuff or listen to some podcasts or something. It'll be a nice little trip. So that's tomorrow. And the day after that, doing about 8 miles down the Barnhard Trail, starting with the Sandy Saddle Trail. So that's sort of the game plan. Funny enough, I actually just got a new phone like yesterday. I ordered it a week ago, finally arrived yesterday. So I was trying to get it all set up for this new trip, or for this trip, and turns out GutHook didn't automatically download my maps. So I'm really thankful I snapped a few screenshots of my route off of CalTopo to share with my parents so that they know where I'm at. Because now those screenshots have become my main source of direction until I can find a cell signal out here, which might happen once we get a little bit higher up this hill. So hopefully I'll be able to get my maps. If not, that's all right. As I said, I got my backup map, and I've been in this area before aside from this little bit of trail that I'm doing right now. But apparently, according to those in the know, this is one of the easiest. It's long to get up to the Mazzies, but it's the most gradual. So Ascent is spread out over a longer area. So anyway, there's a little bit of an update of our plan, my current status with my maps, and we're making it happen. I think we've gone about 2 miles so far, so it's about four and a half more until we get onto the Arizona Trail portion of the Mazatzal Divide. And check this out. The views of North Peak are amazing. So just to give you guys an idea of how far we've come, if you look right about here, there's kind of a big, looks like a show barn or something like that. You can guys see a blank spot. There's a road that takes off kind of over here down to a valley. That's where the City Creek Trailhead starts. And we've basically just swooped all the way up this hill. I believe now we've put on a little bit more than 1,500 to 2,000 feet of elevation, so it's pretty awesome. We're almost to the Arizona Trail again. About a mile until we hit that junction, and life's gonna be beautiful from there on. Got about 5 miles to hike until we get to camp today, and it's about 2:30 now, so we might have a hint of night hiking this evening just as we roll into camp. Funny enough, when I was on this section during my through hike, about the same happened to me. It was just sunset when I was pulling into camp, so we'll see if history repeats itself today or if we get there a little bit early. This climb has been rewarding with the views, but fortunately it's not very steep in individual spots. It's very equally distributed, so it's a long, gradual climb, and it's pretty killer in a good way. Good killer. So as you guys can see, a lot of this area is this manzanita, some scrub oak. There's not much very tall tree growth or anything like that, but you see these big dead skeletons of what used to be trees. It's because this whole mountain range was devastated in 2004 during the Willow Fire. Since hiking the Arizona Trail, I've kind of become obsessed with the Mazatzals. And so I did a deep dive into the history of this whole mountain range and what's impacted it recently. So 2004, the Willow Fire devastated pretty much this entire northwestern portion of the mountain range. So from here, stretching all the way down to the Y-Bar Basin, where I did my volunteer work, is all the same fire scar. And it's really sad to see. In some of my adventures down the rabbit hole, I found some old hiking logs from hikearizona.com, which is one of the big hiking blogs that's been around since the 90s, actually. So found an old trip log, someone who'd hiked the Y-Bar Trail before the fire. There were about 3 entries before 2004, and some of the last photos that you can see, it's literally the spring before this fire torched through it in the summer. I'll do some side-by-sides here. Freaky enough, some of these areas I've actually photographed on my adventures these past couple years up here. And just the stark contrast you can see between what it used to be versus what it is now is just, it's jarring. It's very, very saddening. Because all this used to be lush pine and juniper forest, and now it's kind of turned into this chaparral scrubland type thing. Hopefully over time it'll have a chance to recover. I did some more research into how fast ponderosa pines grow, and it's about 100 years to get a good, big, mature tree. So what you see in those photos is a completely different ecosystem. The fire didn't just burn off all the trees, it killed an ecosystem. And since that fire, especially this Y-bar basin photo here, it used to be a lush green environment with a bunch of springs and water everywhere. There are even some awesome swimming holes in that area. But since the fire, all the trees' roots have been destroyed, and those roots allow for the water to regenerate the groundwater easier. Without those trees, a lot of the water stays on the surface, and that's how you end up with a lot of the mudslides and issues you see right after a forest fire. It's because there's no more roots, or at least much fewer roots, holding things together. And that, in turn, because we don't have that action going on, dries up the entire aquifer. So there might not even be a good source of water in that area ever again. It might not ever regenerate back to what it was before the willow fire. And it's in times like this when I'm climbing up kind of a exposed side of a mountain that I really miss the shade. And I can't help but think about what this all looked like before that great disturbance. It's damn beautiful now, but back then I'm sure it was just jaw-dropping. Might have even been some fairies living in this forest or something. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on trudging up this hill until I hit the Arizona Trail, and I'll let you guys know when I'm there. Time to say goodbye to the Mogollon Rim. We're going over the ridge. So there's North Peak. We're gonna be camping like just over this ridge, I believe. Like over. And the trail continues this way. So say bye-bye, Mogollon Rim, and say hello to the Arizona Trail, which is this way. Oh, boyfriends. Boyfriends? Oh, boyfriends? Anyway, we're here. Made it to the AZT. Red Hills is that way. Mazzy Divide, which is the trail I've been following, continues on this way. Let's get to camp. It's only 3 more miles from here. It's about 3:15. Still quite a bit of sunlight though, so I'm not too worried. Now we're walking through one of those areas that wasn't as badly affected by the fire. You can see there's some burn scarring close to the bottom of some of these, like here. That's indicative that it burned through a lot of the brush, but didn't get up into the canopy, which really kills the trees. As you can see, this doesn't have any green branches beneath a certain height. My guess is that all of that burnt off, but there was still enough green that these trees could survive. So although these were in the burn area, it looks like they were pretty well off. But this is what this entire mountain range used to look like before the fire, just about. Pine trees and junipers and oaks. Just about a mile from camp now. Just walked across this little ravine here. Almost to the park. There's been some decent little trickles. Like down this canyon here, there's a good little trickle, but not much flowing. I could literally see snow melting on a rock face in the creek bed, and then getting to the bottom of the boulder and then just going underground. There were a couple decent puddles back there. Like if you had to and you had a smart water bottle, you could scoop from it. And it looked pretty clear. It looked like just straight up snow melt, so a little bit of water. We'll see how the creek is flowing at the campsite tonight. When I visited there in fall 2019 during my through hike, it wasn't flowing whatsoever where the trail crossed. But I learned that apparently if you go downstream a little bit, there's usually a pretty decent sized pool of water there. So fortunately I didn't need water last time I came through, but tonight I do need water. But there's some ample snow, so if I have to melt it down and boil it, I can. I think we'll have some good flowing water though. So we're just gonna be going up and over this ridge. Doesn't look like a lot of people have been here. A couple footprints. No one recently, at least. It's all refrozen. We're almost to the top of this little ridge. Going this way. We're about to go up and over, and then down the other side of this hill. All right, friends, this is kind of crazy. So you can see behind me kind of these charred stumps and scrub, and then down in this valley is where I'm going to be camping. You can see some tall pine trees here. I think they're Douglas pines. Might be a couple of ponderosas in there too. But this is what this whole mountain range used to look like before the summer of 2004. I mean, I'm sure it looked differently vastly before then, but since 2004, it's changed from this dense pine forest to wide open chaparral. That's just weird. All right, friends, I found the campsite. So the trail's off this way. I just walked in here. Here's that big old juniper I was telling you about. My tent was pretty much smack dab like right here by these rocks. The water is kind of down further in the valley, so we're a little far away from it just so we don't get in the way of any of the animals and the animals don't get in the way of me. But here's kind of the layout. I remember dismantling this fire pit when I left last time, but looks like someone kind of pulled it back together. But it's gonna be a good night, friends. Let's get setting up camp, shall we? Hey friends, just got done setting up camp and taking care of a little business. Really important. Just walking through the woods. The sun's starting to go down. I started to catch the last little bit of alpenglow as I crawled out of the tent. Very, very beautiful. Now the game plan is to find camp. And also find water. So I have this whole hike up, I actually drank around just 1.5 liters. So it was around 10 miles. Generally, I'm a water guzzler. So this was interesting to me that I all of a sudden have this new skill where I don't drink all of the water right when it's in front of me. But I have another 1.5 liters clean right now, so I'm about half. And I'm sure that I'm gonna be so thirsty tonight. Like at midnight, I'll wake up and out of my sleep and just be a bear. Hopefully not a real one. Oh, I made it back to the trail already. I walked past camp. But so gotta fill up on water for dinner and for hydration for tomorrow, and maybe catch a few little pretty photos here, and I think we're gonna have a little fire too. Just sitting around the fire now, taking in the evening. It's still as can be. It's really, really amazing. Hardly even a breeze, just enough to keep the smoke from going in your face. It's really a great night. According to my watch though, 34.4 degrees already, and it's only 8:30. I spent some time getting camp all set up, but now it's about time to do dinner. I've kind of just been sitting here like chilling by the fire, zoning out, but it's probably about time to make dinner. I also have some hot chocolate and tea, so I might after dinner mix up one of those. But yeah, I'm gonna get going on that. I'm gonna charge the GoPro here, so I'll catch you guys in a little bit. All right, friends, just gonna let the fire burn down now and probably get a little bit of shut-eye. It's just after 10. I just got done hanging the bear bag. When I was breaking the last couple twigs up for the fire, I ended up jacking up my thumb a little bit. Of course, my first aid kit's in the bear bag. It was literally the first thing I did when I got back from hanging the bear bag. I split my finger open, so I'm holding pressure on it. Just a little bit of a flesh wound on my thumbnail. Looks like just a gnarly hangnail, basically, so not too worried. I'll hit it with some antibiotics tomorrow morning when we awake and continue our adventure. Also, the water situation's a little dismal. Was only able to find one murky little puddle where I thought there would be a creek, and that puddle wasn't even enough to fully fill up one smart water bottle. I was able to get a little more than a liter in there though, because they're the 1 quart ones, the 1.5 liters, so I was able to get it like 2/3 full. So the water situation's not quite what I hoped, but we got enough to manage tomorrow. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have some better water. It's just weird to see the snow up high, but then there's like nothing in the creek beds. It's really, really obscure. So this spring's gonna be weird for you thru hikers. I wish you luck and keep an eye on Guthook. I'll be updating this whole, while I'm out here. I'll be updating the water sources for you guys because they haven't even been updated since October. So hopefully we can get this all figured out. That's all tonight. I'm gonna be headed to bed after I put out this fire, like a responsible adult. And I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Sleep well.